I'm going to start this video by telling you something that most people really don't want to hear. You're probably working incredibly hard, but it's not enough to truly separate you. And no, this isn't some feel-good platitude or empty motivation. This is the raw truth that the 99% refuse to acknowledge, a fundamental understanding that, once you grasp it, will set you apart. I know you've felt that gnawing frustration of pouring your heart and soul into something, only to see meager returns. We've all been there, pushing ourselves to the brink, convinced that sheer effort is the only metric for success. But what if that belief, that relentless focus on doing more, is actually the very thing keeping you stuck in the crowd? Because honestly, it's not about working harder. It's about understanding what truly matters, and how to operate from that place. Dude, if you're like I was for years, you probably believe that success is directly proportional to how much sweat you put in. I spent my 20s killing myself, working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, always on. I thought if I just outwork everyone, eventually, the results had to come. I was so exhausted, so burned out, and honestly, the results were mediocre. I was working exhaustively without seeing proportional results, stuck in a cycle of perceived productivity that led nowhere fast. It almost destroyed my life, and I see so many people trapped in that same mediocrity, chasing the illusion that effort alone is enough. The real game changer for me was understanding the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. It's simple, but deeply profound. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. The problem isn't your work ethic, it's your work allocation. We spend so much time on low-impact tasks, the noise, that makes us feel busy but generates zero real value. I used to call these my activity traps. We're busy, sure, but are we effective? To truly separate yourself, you need to identify your milking cow, that 1, 2, maybe 3 activities that, when done consistently, yield the highest returns. This isn't about being lazy. It's about being strategically smart. It's about focusing your finite energy and time where it counts, not where it feels easy or familiar. This is where clarity, true focus, and conscious decision-making come into play. So, how do you discover your key activities and eliminate the value-draining junk? It's a simple protocol of analysis and selectivity. First, track your time for a week. Seriously, write down everything you do and the actual output. Be honest. Second, for each task, ask, did this directly move me towards my biggest goals? Or, could this have been eliminated, delegated, or automated? You'll quickly see patterns of wasted effort. My personal story with this involved cutting out an hour of daily research that was actually just glorified scrolling and replacing it with focused deep work on content creation. The shift in focus was incredible. Third, implement a stop doing list. This is just as important as your to-do list, maybe more. Be ruthless. Learning to say no to even good opportunities that aren't your 20% is a superpower. Activating this selective mode and detaching from irrelevant activities is a habit that takes courage. It means letting go of the guilt of not doing everything, understanding that not everything deserves your energy. I remember feeling so much pressure to be involved in every group project or take on every freelance gig. But when I committed to the 80-20 rule, my life transformed. It wasn't instant, but slowly, I stopped killing myself working. I gained clarity on what truly mattered for my growth and my business. This isn't about finding an easier way out. It's about finding the smarter way forward, multiplying your productivity with less wasted effort. It's about realizing that relief comes not from doing less, but from doing the right things. Now, let's talk about decisions. Because, dude, decisions are the absolute bedrock of your life. Every single choice, big or small, creates a ripple effect, setting you on a path that diverges from countless other possibilities. Think about it like Newton's law applied to your personal journey. For every decision, there's an equal and opposite outcome, shaping your trajectory in ways you can't always predict. I've seen lives completely transform, or tragically derail, based on just one critical choice. The problem is, most of us either procrastinate important decisions out of fear, or we make impulsive choices that lead to deep regret. We crave that guaranteed win, but life doesn't work that way. The power isn't in knowing the outcome, it's in making conscious, strategic decisions. So why do we make so many bad decisions? It's not because you're stupid or incapable. It's because we're wired with hidden biases, cognitive shortcuts that sabotage our choices without us even realizing it. I used to fall prey to this constantly. There's the confirmation bias, where we seek out information that validates what we already want to do, instead of truly analyzing. Then, there's the sunk cost fallacy, where we keep pouring resources into a bad idea because we've already invested so much. And of course, emotional decision-making, letting fear or excitement dictate our choices. I once held onto a terrible business partnership for way too long because I was afraid of admitting I'd made a mistake and losing the investment I'd put in. These biases are silent saboteurs, making us believe we're being rational when, in reality, we're being manipulated by our own minds. Understanding these hidden biases is the first step to reclaiming your agency. To combat these biases, I developed a simple but powerful framework for conscious decision-making, for questions you must ask yourself before any important choice. First, what is my real motivation here? Not the pretty, socially acceptable one, but the raw, honest reason. Second, who truly benefits from this decision? This helps uncover hidden incentives. Is it truly for your growth, or for someone else's agenda? Third, am I seeking confirmation of what I already believe, or am I genuinely analyzing all angles? This forces you to confront your biases. And fourth, what is the full context of this decision, not just the convenient piece I'm focusing on? Are you considering long-term consequences, not just immediate gratification? This method brings incredible clarity, forcing you to make decisions based on solid ground, not shaky emotions. And speaking of hidden benefits, let's talk about protection. The world is full of people who will gladly influence your decisions for their own gain. Remember the dentist metaphor Charlie Munger used. Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome. Every piece of advice, every recommendation, comes with an agenda. My own learning curve here was steep. I used to trust everyone at face value until I realized that everyone has a motive, even if it's subconscious. This isn't to make you cynical, but to make you discerning. There's no free lunch in life. If someone is pushing you towards a decision, ask the 4 questions. Question their motivation. Your ability to take strategic decisions that genuinely improve your life comes from being able to cut through the noise, identify who is manipulating you, and choose your own path with security and control. Now, let's get real about time and energy. You know that saying, we all have the same 24 hours as Bill Gates. Yeah, no. That's a convenient lie that makes us feel bad. While the clock might tick the same, the quality of those 24 hours, and more importantly, the energy you bring to them, are vastly different. Bill Gates isn't juggling 3 jobs, dealing with a toxic boss, or worrying about next month's rent. The truth about drained energy and different obligations is that your capacity for high-impact activities isn't just about the clock. It's about your mental, emotional, and physical reserves. Many of us start the day already depleted, and yet we wonder why our productivity isn't soaring. We're working with a constantly draining battery, and that's a fundamental problem. So how are you burning through your precious time and energy without even realizing it? Think of your daily routine like a bucket with tiny, invisible leaks. Those small leaks, endless social media scrolling, gossiping, constantly checking emails, unproductive meetings, indecisive dawdling, they slowly, relentlessly drain your capacity. You might not notice one leak, but collectively, they destroy great results. I used to think I was just relaxing by scrolling through feeds for an hour before work. But that was an hour of my brain being fed low-quality input, priming me for distraction instead of focus. These aren't just time wasters, they're energy destroyers. Achieving real consciousness about these tiny habits that deplete your time and energy is crucial. You need to plug those leaks to truly reclaim your power. Once you identify these leaks, the next step is intelligent allocation, where to invest your time and energy first. This might sound counterintuitive, but before you invest in material possessions, you should be investing in time itself. That means buying time, delegating tasks you don't need to do, automating repetitive processes, or even outsourcing. For years, I did everything myself because I thought I was saving money. But I was burning out, sacrificing my high-value activities for low-value chores. When I started investing in services that bought me time, like a virtual assistant for administrative tasks, it freed up my mental bandwidth to focus on core creative work. Prioritize buying time or energy before buying goods. This is about strategic focus and priority in your investments, recognizing your time and energy as your most limited, valuable resources. Finally, you need a robust protection system to shield your time and energy from emotional vampires and low-value activities. Your environment is your mental input. As I often say, if you spend all your time in a dump, you'll smell like a dump. If you spend it in a perfume shop, you'll carry that scent. The people around you, the content you consume, the spaces you inhabit, they all dictate your input mental. I learned this the hard way, sticking with relationships that constantly drained me, thinking I was being loyal. But what I was actually doing was letting them siphon off my vital energy. Blind your time and energy from anything that doesn't elevate you. This isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. When you gain conscious control over the allocation of your time and energy for high-impact activities, you're not just managing your life. You're building a fortress around your most precious resources, empowering yourself to be truly in command of your own time. So, remember that uncomfortable truth I started with? The one about working hard but still staying common? Well, now you understand the core difference. It's not about working harder than everyone else. It's about understanding where to focus your precious energy and how to make truly strategic decisions. The 99% are stuck in the illusion of busyness, confusing effort with outcome, while the few who rise above realize that clarity, focus, and conscious action are the true currencies. This isn't about some magical formula. It's about shifting your mindset, applying these fundamental principles, and committing to real change. We talked about how the Pareto principle isn't just a business theory, but a blueprint for life, helping you identify your milking cow and ditch the noise. We unpack the power of strategic decision-making, arming you with 4 crucial questions to cut through biases and manipulation, taking control of your life's trajectory. And we dove deep into managing your most vital resources, time and energy, recognizing that not all 24 hours are created equal, and how to protect your mental perfume shop from turning into a dump. Each of these insights, when applied, builds upon the last like a bola de neve, creating momentum that's impossible to ignore. This journey is about building an mental archive of wisdom, not just collecting information. It's about cultivating an authenticity that can't be copied because it's built on your unique understanding and lived experience. The transformation is real, it's tangible, and it begins with that moment of Clarissa Mental, where everything just clicks into place. It's not easy, I won't lie to you. But when you truly understand these foundations and commit to conscious action, you start building a life where your effort actually translates into meaningful results. You begin to separate yourself, not by striving for external validation, but by building an unshakable internal compass. This isn't about being better than others. It's about becoming the best you that your understanding and actions can create. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. You know your life best. But now you have a level of clarity that most people will never achieve. You can choose to ignore everything I've said, go back to the default of busyness, and keep wondering why things aren't changing. Or you can choose one single thing from this video, one principle, one question, one shift in perspective, and test it out. See what happens. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to start. The change won't be instantaneous, but it will be real when you apply it consistently. It's not about being good or bad at productivity or decision making. It's about understanding the fundamento, seeing how things actually work, and then making conscious choices. I also did this. I spent years flailing around until I finally got it. The person you're going to be 6 months from now is watching the choices you make today. This is your moment to break free from the cycle of unexamined effort. To build an authentic life where your time and energy are protected, your decisions are strategic, and your actions are aligned with what truly moves the needle. It's about creating a circulo positivo, where your inputs match your aspirations, and your authenticity becomes your superpower. You have the power to define your own path. It's about choosing to use it. If this conversation resonated with you, if it sparked a flicker of Clarissa in your mind, I'm not going to hit you with generic like and subscribe requests. But if you want to keep diving deeper into what truly builds real change, not just temporary motivation, then consider becoming part of our community. Hit that subscribe button if you're serious about this journey of conscious action and building an authentic life. And please comment below, what's one specific thing, one insight from today that you're going to implement or challenge in your own life? I love reading your thoughts and seeing the real impact these ideas have. You're a KO, and your voice matters here.